watch out, cause I'm here now and I'm staying. Claws out, this the fight that I've been craving. I know there's something inside of me, but it's been masked by fear and anxiety. But no more, I'ma break out of the chains. Let's defiantly. Go! I'm waking up, this ain't enough. All of my dreams were starting to rust, but I believe that I can adjust. Positive thoughts, I'm starting to trust. Nothing's deserved unless you work. Something of worth requires an urge. I have been hurt by those at their worst, but that gave me will, some power, a surge. And they know that I won't surrender, so they fear me as a contender. When I fight, they always remember, yeah. I will be known, I won't let go, I will not stop, I will.
Hello and welcome to the Marko Yamashita Show. I am your host, Marko Yamashita, and just recently announced we have some breaking news from the former members of Production Kawaii Generation 3. As some people might remember, and we will cover this extremely quickly, at the beginning of 2023, we had one of the members of Generation 3 get terminated from Production Kawaii, and then later on, in April 7th, 2023, the remaining four members of Production Kawaii, Alita, Peony, Sava, and Miru, all left under very unique and troublesome circumstances, which brought quite a bit of controversy and eyes upon Production Kawaii as to why an entire generation would suddenly be let go within a matter of 4 months. But needless to say, those four members that left after Oshine did reintroduce themselves into the independent scene with temporary models and with kind of stand-ins of what they hope to be represented by, as they had their new models created. Of course, that takes quite a bit of time and effort, so they have not officially made any kind of official debut or announcement until today. On Iris channel, about roughly 40 minutes ago, she released this short promo video outlining the new chapter on the four people that are still together and still great friends, and they seem to be doing very well. We will quickly watch this promo trailer announcing the new chapter of their VTuber careers. And as you can see, they have decided to collectively form a new VTuber group called V-Dere, and each one of those of the members will be assuming the characteristic of a specific genre within what you would probably call otaku culture, with the dere type of mentality paired with the other various components of the otaku culture, such as you saw, Baka, Tindre, Yandre, so on and so forth. I can say from personal experience that at least two of them have always embraced those specific types of character traits, and they seem to rather enjoy it, and want to continue to pursue those characteristics in the professional career of their new VTuber life. All right, so we will briefly cover what is their VTuber group and what they are all about. As you can see, they have their own website. It's v-dere.moe. And as you can see, they also have their promo video up on their webpage itself. If we want to drill in and look just a little bit closer here, we can see that, as you can see, the character models themselves have not been completely revealed, or at least officially revealed on their channels. They will be live 2D models. They have been having them worked on and designed here over the last, I would say probably about the last 6 months or so. Between 4 to 6 months, they had to have find the right illustrators to do their designs. They needed to also collaborate with those illustrators and those designers in order to create it and ensure that the design meets what they want and is able to be produced, and also be able to raise the funds for it as well, because their departure from Production Kawaii was extremely sudden and abrupt. We won't go into the exact details of what that departure entailed, because it's semi-complicated. It's still controversial, and it's more or less of a he said she said versus from the talent that departed and the agency that they departed from. So we're going to move on here. As you can see, they also have a section here where they will be outlining their upcoming schedule, showing you exactly what the schedule looks like for each VTuber, as well as if there's any main events, which would be the major collaborations between the four of them. At the top here, you can go through and scroll down to each individual VTuber themselves. Now, the curious thing that I wanted to find out, and I wanted to see, and we're going to look at it right here. And I don't think they've said two. Okay, they said some here, and updated some here. Okay, so let's briefly read their little news release here on their website. V-Dere welcomes. I always pronounce her name wrong. Kari's. Kirispika and Pachi, Moza Mi Pachi, to its ranks. They are the four founding members. Over the past 4 months, V-Dere founding members have experienced moments of great excitement and great hardships. However, through the support of the loyal communities and an unbreakable friendship, they were able to persevere, and today, after much hard work, we bring you V-Dere. The creation of V-Dere is to support and expand upon this uniquely strong and infectious bond. What began as a group of girls with coinciding ambitions is now reaching towards dreams previously thought fantastical. Under this unifying banner, these dreams are within their grasp. Many events, releases, collaborations, sponsorships, and more have been planned prior to this launch. The updated look and name are only the start. Please stay tuned for things to come. To begin, V-Dere hopes that you will join this mission and see you at our talent's upcoming debuts this September, which is later this month. Please stay tuned for the upcoming events, and they have a Twitter and YouTube page here, and we will briefly come over here and take a look at those. Okay, so they do have a VTuber page here for their group as a whole. So and it's the exact same as their name. So if you're curious about the group themselves or want to explore them even further, that would be the landing page for you. I'll put that in the description below, as well as their Twitter homepage here. As you can see, they also started their own Twitter homepage with the official announcements that will be coming from the group onto the homepage, instead of just the individuals trying to announce everything for the whole. So if you are a fan, or if you are curious about where those 4 VTubers from Production Kawaii Gen 3 have gone, I would suggest that you come onto this landing page. Also, you'll if you check the description in my video below after this live stream, I will also include all the links to the group and individual VTubers for you for your convenience. That way you can check them out if you haven't already. I do hope that you do check them out, because quite honestly, despite all the ups and downs that have happened, all the hearsay, and with all the controversy and skepticism on both sides, from the Production Kawaii fans and then also the fans of these 4 ladies, I would suggest that you go check them out, because they are extremely talented. They have all the assets and all the capabilities and all the components to be successful in the VTuber industry and stand out among the pack. They have 4 very unique personalities. There't going to be a personality that you will enjoy. Of course, you're not gonna like everyone, but you will like somebody. With the amount of variety that this new group is presenting to you, you're bound to find somebody that you'll be able to connect with, whether it be somebody that, if you enjoy the silly type of VTuber that is, just kind of like out in left field and throws curveballs at you, all the time, that keeps you on your feet. That type of person exists here. You actually have a VTuber in this group with Irie that, despite her personifying the yandere type of character trait, like 90% of the time, she is, extremely sweet, extremely low key, very comforting. I sit here on a regular basis and just put her stream on and listen to her talk, because it is, extremely relaxing. If nothing else, it's very relaxing. Unless she's playing horror games, because then if she's playing horror games, then she's screaming her head off. But she also enjoys horror games as well. So if you enjoy watching, ladies play horror games and being scared and screaming and stuff like that, you got that as well. Spica is very much one of those types of people that tries to be analytical and think things through. She is sometimes she can overanalyze things and make things overly complicated, where you're just kind of like yelling at the screen saying, no, just pick the obvious choice, that's the right answer. And then Ilya is actually, for me, when I hear Ilya, and when I've heard her in the past, she has been one of the most sensational singers that I've seen, that is not signed to a huge production group like, like Hololive or Niji, and I'm honestly, I'm quite surprised that their scouts haven't either come across her or approached her about joining them, because her singing is just sensational, and I was very shocked and saddened when this whole thing with Production Kawaii took place, because I honestly thought she would be one of the leaders of Production Kawaii going forward, since they started off with VTubers that were not necessarily on the professional level of singing, and Ilya is not just there, she is beyond there. She is on that next tier. So I think she'll be able to expand her wings completely and take off as they form this new group here. So I would highly suggest that if you have not already, you can check out their Twitter page or X page, whatever. It sounds so perverted, but it's still Twitter, man. Just check out their Twitter page here. Virtual DERE is their Twitter page here, their Twitter handle. They also check out their main landing page here on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed to those 4 talents and you want to check them out, they have all of their links to their individual pages on that main landing page. So I would highly suggest you go check that out. Moving on, we'll explore their website here just a little bit further, because I want to be able to showcase everything that they are currently doing and have accomplished. It does appear that they have a store that is currently selling some merchandise. It looks like Mozumi has already got out a lot. So it's all out of stock now, because I believe this stuff was sold a little earlier on booth and has since sold out. But then Ilya has a hoodie here, which is extremely I mean, this design here on the back is just is awesome, so yeah, that's pretty cool. And then of course let's go look at their music page here. So we have one original song by Ilya, and that's a background song. And then the ladies all have released covers here within the last 4 to 6 months, and they're all fantastic. If you want to, go check them out on an individual basis. You can go straight to their website and look at that. And let's see here, what else is there? And of course, they have their fan guidelines. About what you want, what they want and expect, that be respectful towards doing fan works with them, just like you would handle any other VTuber out there. With the hey, welcome to the chat. I appreciate you coming in here. Her mouse pad is some great stuff. Hey, you know what? Those booba pads are really awesome. I got 2 of them personally. I mean, that I don't have hers, but I do have I do have Mel and Roboco's booba pads from Hololive, and let me tell you that support on my wrist has helped greatly. I have one for each wrist, and I mean, they support me and I'll support them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's some great stuff. Yeah, the booba is real, and they are definitely definitely nice. Not to mention that they are extremely well designed as well. The artist that she has for her art and for her character design is extremely awesome. So I am very excited to see what the debut of their models will look like here. and I do want to also come over here and just look at the the contact us here. They do have a contact page here that will send them a message. Whether it be feedback, collaboration request, sponsorship inquiry, etc., etc., etc. And if you have any questions, or if you have any concerns, you can certainly send them that message and get a response from them. I'm not sure how long that will take. However, if you're just doing something like myself, and you are providing context and commentary about the actual launch of their group themselves, which is under fair use and under basically what would be called media reporting, then that's typically something that does not need to be addressed through a message like this. But if you are concerned about, like, if you're going to do fan work or whatever, and then put it in your portfolio, and you want to put it up someplace, you might want to reach out to them and make sure that you understand that what the concepts are of doing those types of things before you do it, because you want to be able to respect their mama and papa, their illustrator and designers, since they are the original and artwork holders for copyrights and all that other fun stuff. So I would suggest that if you have any questions about that type of thing, you ask them first. So that's all I'm saying. So in conclusion, though, I am extremely excited for all four of these, because like I said, I have followed these four ladies extensively for well over 9 months now. Some more closely than others. My personal favorite out of the group, if I had to pick my favorite out of the group, my favorite out of the group was always Irie. I followed her under her previous persona of Peony, and Irie is, to me, I've always found her voice extremely nice to listen to, and despite the fact that she has completely gone 90% yandere, and that does seem to be what she wants to focus on, I do feel that she has a great amount of potential and talent to expand beyond that trope. And this is just personal opinion and context, okay, guys? Best girl to me, me personally, best girl is Irie, okay? And that's personal taste. Now, if I were to say best girl in the sense of who's currently the best out of the four of them, I would have to say Ilya is probably the strongest out of the four of them. And the main reason why I say that is because I believe Ilya is probably, out of the four of them, I believe Ilya is probably the most currently equipped person as a performer and as a VTuber to hit those next levels. And like I alluded to before, I believe personally that she would be next tier. Like, if Hololive or Niji were to scout this group and want to recruit from them, I would believe that they would pick Ilya first. And it's purely because I believe she is the most equipped and most refined as far as being able to cut music, do video games, be organized, be have be one of those types of people that if you have to collab, a sudden collab in 10 minutes, you would be able to drop her in, and she would just be able to work. She's perfect with teamwork. Even I think even so far as like leadership, I know Spica tends to reach out to the girls just as much. I believe Spica tends to have one of the biggest hearts between the four of them. Most of me tends, to me, she seems to be like one of those like laid back at the last minute type of people, where it's like, she will think, everything's gonna work out. I don't have to plan in advance. I don't need to do all this. It'll work out as it works out. I'll take it as it comes, type of thing. And with what I've seen and witnessed over the last 9 months since I'm following them, Irie, I think Irie is probably the and I don't mean this in a bad way, okay, but I believe Irie is probably the most immature one out of the group, and when I say that because I know that she's extremely young. She's probably on the level of like when Hachima was hired by Hololive. According to the insider info, Hachima was 17, just turning 18 when she was hired. When she was scouted by Hololive, and then I feel like Irie is probably about in the same situation, where I think she's somewhere between 18 and 21. She says that she hasn't, she can't drink yet, and I think the drinking age is like, I want to say like 2021 in Germany. I'm not quite sure, but she's somewhere around there. So I think that she's and this is not to say that she's not a good streamer, because she is. She's a very good streamer. I honestly think that she doesn't have enough confidence in herself when she does things, and that confidence is slowly building up, and it's partly because of the way she's been raised, where she is extremely reserved. She's very conscious, and wants to accommodate other people first. That's the persona that she pushes out. So, in effect, she could do a song extremely well, but she feels like it's not good enough because she needs to do it better for us. So she'll constantly push even harder, even though it's even perfect. It's a perfect take. She'll still feel that it needs to be better, instead of okay, this is good. This is the take that we need. Okay, let's move on to whatever is the next part. So, and as a result of that, she has definitely burned herself out a time or two. Not just on streaming, but also in real life. So, I really worry about her at times, because I know that between going to university and then streaming and then trying to get all this stuff done behind the scenes, because I knew these four were working very hard behind the scenes. I had the feeling that they were going to put something together like this a couple months ago, when I listened to all four of them, and all four of them were like, we're just doing so much stuff on behind the scenes, and you guys, we're trying to get all this stuff ready, and we just want you guys to keep hanging on, just wait just a little bit longer, and it was always, wait, we had this stuff planned, we're just trying to pull it all together and make sure that it's all together before we officially come out with it all. So I knew they were going to do something big like this. I didn't think it was going to be on the scale that this is. However, they have put a lot of work and effort into this. And, people are going to talk. People are going to talk, and they're going to say, oh, yeah, those four girls, yeah, they intentionally, sabotage their generation with Kawaii because they wanted to start their own group. And no, 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 no. That's completely false. It's completely false. They came together as a group, and contrary to popular belief, the whole incident with Oshine brought them even closer together, because it was not just, we're the only four left of our gen. It was, we were attacked, and when no one else was helping us, we, besides our fans, we only had each other, and that brought them together even closer. And the fact that they're all, all four personalities do coalesce with each other, and they have been able to, go visit each other, and have taken the time to go visit each other when they could have easily just gone their own separate ways, and tried to get into with some other agency. That says something about what these four girls are trying to accomplish. And the fact that Kawaii did not seem to recognize the talent that they had, and were putting their resources into all these other things and excluding them from what they were trying to achieve and what they wanted to achieve with Kawaii. I think it was a very big missed opportunity, because, if they could do all this stuff by themselves, they could have done all this stuff for Production Kawaii. You know what I'm saying? And Production Kawaii, it could have just had like a very tremendous moment with Gen 3 here in September. So let's look at here. Ilya, yeah, Irie is German. She is German, and I don't remember what the drinking age is in Germany, but the last time I heard her say something about alcohol, and I know she just did the one sip thing with Cult of the Lamb. She alluded to something that that she hadn't tasted beer yet. So I'm not, and of course beer and Germany go hand in hand, just like Ireland and was it Ireland and bourbon, or Ireland, the Irish and whiskey? It goes hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I believe you're right. Because I lived in Germany, but for a couple years, but I was extremely young. I was like 9 or 10 back then. So, and I believe you're right. I believe that you can drink. I believe you can drink beer at 16, but you can't drink hard alcohol until later. You can only, there's like there's like a tier limit on the age of where you can drink. You could be a certain age, and I think it used to be that you had to be under parental supervision as well. But yeah, I'm not sure what the current laws are over there with that stuff. But honestly, though, if I were to go through, I've talked a lot about Irie already. Ilya, I've really loved Ilya and her singing. It's second to none in my opinion with the group. She has done. She has a fantastic voice, a fantastic range. She presents herself very professionally. And as you can see, she's a very hard worker with streaming, and trying to be consistent with. And she puts a lot of hours in as well. You got 4 hours, 5 hours. She puts a lot of time into her channel, and wanting to give her subscriber base the biggest and best presentation that you can get. So I'm excited for her. Let's see here. Let's go back. Speaka, I do watch Speaka, from time to time. She kind of frustrates me though with her presentation, because like she loves she loves these deduction games, Zero Escape, Ghost Trick. She loves these deduction games. Ace Attorney. I just started playing through Ace Attorney after watching her stream Ace Attorney, and I was like, I gotta play this. I knew who Phoenix Wright was, but I never played the game until I watched her start playing it, and I'm like, oh, I gotta play this now. You know what I'm saying? But and she does a lot of singing streams. She probably has a lot more singing streams that had to be privatized because of copyright strike potential, that kind of thing. But she loves playing these deduction games, and at times you could get really frustrated with her, because she'll take a mystery and she'll like deduce so far that she becomes like the Fox Mulder of this group. She'll her deductions start going into like beyond deductions on solving the case, but they start going further into conspiracy theory territory, which are fascinating to see how she makes those leaps of logic to where she's taking it. But at the same time, you keep on like internally yelling, going, "That's not the right answer," So, I do believe that I do believe though that she has a lot of fun with this. Her her dedicated fans, the people that have followed her from Koi over to what she's doing now. I mean, I was one of those people. I subscribed to her before. I'm not a current member of her channel. But I do follow her, and I think she is a great presenter and entertainer. So, and she does sing well. She does sing very well. And that's one thing I want to emphasize with all four of these ladies. The one that I think has the least confidence in her singing is probably Mozumi. I think she probably has the least confidence in her singing, but she does sing extremely well. Despite what she thinks, I think she does sing extremely well. She just needs to have more confidence in her singing. Now, if you want someone who is ukulele. Yeah. She also plays the ukulele. Yeah. I completely forgot about that. And that's just it. All four of them just need the more exposure. They need more people talking about them. They need people including their names in conversations when it comes to VTuber groups, because honestly, what they present with V-Dere is so dramatically different from all the other VTuber groups out there, because they actually embrace the trope that they are personifying. Whereas, I've always talked about this, you have people in groups like Hololive that present new generations with a context title that is supposed to personify what the group is. And then they even present an entire lore in an animated format in videos, to hype up the crowd, so to speak. And then after they debut, they're just a normal teenage or young adult woman. She's just another person. They're just other people. That there is no embracing of what their character is, or what the trope that they personify is, or what they enjoy doing the most. It's all just like I mean, and again, I would use Calliope Moria as a perfect example. When she was introduced, she embraced her character, she embraced her lore, she rode that lore for years, and it worked. Everyone was like, you know what? If I die today, I want her to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what it was, And I mean, you don't have anybody saying, you know what, I want to save the whales, and that's why I follow this person, because, I mean, her character is that she's, part whale, and all that stuff. No, you don't have, the only reason why people, follow a lot of these other people is because they have some kind of character trait that they do work on, but it wasn't originally part of their lore, so that they run with it, and then that becomes part of their lore. But had they embraced the lore from the very beginning of what they had and expand upon it, it would have been so much more beneficial. Because let's look at Subaru, for example, okay? And I'm going to use Subaru as an example against Mozumi. All right? Subaru was supposed to personify the tomboyish girl that is, very athletic and in sports. Right, and that explained and that was the entire reason behind her design, right? And at the very beginning, she did work on that, but then somewhere along the lines, that just kind of like disappeared. And it wasn't until somebody said, "She sounds like a duck." Did a character trait fall into her lap that she didn't want at the very beginning, but everybody started embracing the duck. Everybody, and then the duck became lore. Her popularity just skyrocketed because of the one meme that she finally decided to embrace, and that Hall Life finally allowed her to embrace, right? And then her popularity exploded even further after she had her new costume debut, because everyone saw her as this tomboyish person, right? Everyone knew she was a girl. Everyone understood she was a girl, but hey, she's just she's one of those athletic girls that she cares more about sports than what she really looks like, And then all of a sudden, she got her new outfit, and like, literally the entire chat exploded and said, "Damn, you are freaking cute as hell." And she was actually embarrassed because of it, because everyone finally realized, hey, there is a girl underneath this. And everyone was like, you know what, our duck went from an ugly duck into the swan. It was like the swan moment. And she ran with it. But the difference of it is, it took her, 3 years to get to that point, to embrace her character, and embrace the actual finer points of her character, because number one, she didn't work on those traits that made her an individual before. Whereas Mozumi from day one, Mozumi, I could figure out and find out and feel what her character was, what her character traits were, what her personality was, how she conducts herself, and what she embraces on her channel from day one. And what was even more fascinating was within I would say a week, maybe 2 weeks, she did her ASMR where she took that character and she essentially put it to sleep, and she allowed the other side of her character to come out. And so you had that duology of what the, what the former and then the dere part of the character was. And you were able to feel that transition between somebody who is just, happy-go-lucky and, hey, look, there's some soap. I wonder what it tastes like. To, I'm gonna be your older sister today, and I'm gonna spoil you like hell. You know what I'm saying? That is working and embracing your character from day one. And the fact that she recognizes that she is a cat girl, and she actually uses the trope. She actually integrates that trope into her character, and when she talks to her audience, that's the difference. That is what we need more of. Because if you don't have that, you're just another streamer that is putting up an anime girl in front of people and expecting you to like you. And there's thousands of those people out there now. There's literally thousands. Unless you separate yourself from the pack, like these 4 girls have, and consistently have, you're not going to get anywhere. But the other thing is, these 4 ladies have shown within the last, 5 months, 4 to 5 months, since being let go from Production Kawaii, that they are able to put together an entire new group, have it completely organized, where they can actually put up a website and say, here's our schedules. Our website is scripted, so you can see what our schedules are, what our schedules are going to be like. You can look at each individual. You can see you could see 3 days out for each individual. Put together a storefront on their website. Their storefront is branded under their own domain. It's not on Booth. I'm sure they have a distributor for it, and I'm not sure where their distributor is. It looks like voshi.com is their distributor. And I'm not sure who that distributor is. But, they're not even using, Booth or one of those other storefronts. They have their own storefront built. They have their designer, their mixers. They have their song mixers, and they can put out their own music, and it could be hosted and displayed on their website, as the one gateway, the main gateway to find all this stuff. 5 months of doing this, of getting it to this point and having it completely organized, is amazing. Because I'll be honest with you, some of these VTuber groups can't do this in 5 months. And it's pretty sad. It is really sad. And the other thing that I find extremely impressive when it comes to these ladies, and I wonder if, let's see here. And we're gonna watch this just briefly here, because I want to illustrate just how well they have things. Does she stay in the corner the entire... Okay. So, look at her character model. And look how responsive it is. Her character model is so responsive towards her movements and her actions and when she's talking. I mean, look at her mouth. Her mouth is actually moving while she's talking. Okay? And people will probably say, well, you're just trying to nitpick, to boost them and make them sound more impressive. No. Because if you look at her character model, her eyes are moving, they're constantly blinking, they're being responsive towards what she's doing in real life. When she's talking, her mouth actually moves, where even people in Hololive have a problem with this. And I'm talking the biggest company in VTuberism right now. They could not get their characters, their VTuber models to consistently react like what hers is. And that's damn impressive for just 4 people who are coming together to form a group. Goofy or better, it gives her the more capabilities to once again personify her personality. Because if your character responds to this level, you start forgetting that you're talking to a person behind the character. Because if you're looking at them and they're visually interacting with you to that point, to that level where they're blinking, their eyes are moving, perhaps their eyebrows are moving, their mouth is moving with the same pace as they're speaking, you start forgetting that there's a person behind there, and you start thinking to yourself, I'm actually talking to this character. And that's the whole point. The whole point of having an avatar and having the VTuber character is to be a character on the screen that can be interacted with. Not somebody who is, you don't want your audience to sit there and say, yeah, Mozumi is streaming today, and, I mean, the person behind the character is this outrageous and far out. I think you should check him out. No. You want to be able to point to Mozumi and say, look at this girl. Look at this VTuber. Look at what she does. And you want the person, you want the listener, you want the viewer to forget that there is an entire other person behind the avatar, because you want them to embrace who they're looking at. And that's the whole point. When Hololive and Yago first set out with Hololive as a whole, their whole thing was, we want to create a world where you can interact and that character, that VTuber can take you away from the real world and insert you into a world that they're building. And all 4 of these ladies do that. All 4, yeah. Well, Gen 1 modeling what was a lot more reactive before the Gen 2 versions came out, because they were trying to transition over to like a pseudo 3D, 2D, 3D type of model. And now, like version 3, the version 3 that's out right now, is you have to go in and fine tune it yourself. And that's what Mozumi did. That's what all 4 of them have done. They have gone into their their own setup, their own tracking. That they utilize the same stuff like what I do, and what a lot of other people do. However, they have gone in and they fine tuned their character to respond as in the highest quality as they can. So when they present themselves to you, they actually feel lifelike. They're not just a girl behind an anime girl. You know, and again, people are like, at the beginning, people are like, wow, your character looks so much different than what currently looks like Mozumi, And she's like, oh, well, this is just a temporary one. And for a while there, it was kind of like, okay, so we're gonna lose, you again. So and then get a third person. It didn't sit well with some of us because a lot of us got attached to her current model. And you start doing name name assigning to the model with the character, right? So that transformation is going to be dramatically different. And it's like what I tell people with myself. If I ever decide to get another model, I'm going to have to, have it designed similar to what this currently looks like and have it kind of like a version up, of my current model. Because if I transition to something completely different, you almost have to assign them a different name, because in a sense, it's hard to say this is what I am now. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes beyond just what, like, if you had plastic surgery done, you still want to be that same person, and everyone's still going to want to, compare you to what you were. So you almost have to do a version up of yourself. And that's why she went with the model that she went with right now, because it's almost like this model that she has, she's basically just growing up. if you want to put it in certain terms, because this one does look like a younger version of what her new one will probably look like. So I mean, you do have that. Just like Irie tried to do the same thing with her character model, and I mean, her new character model is going to be drastically better than what her current one is. But these ladies have already instilled a personality into their current models, right? And so, when the new ones come out, you're going to want to, like, take what they are, what they were, and what they are, and then try to move that onto the new character, the new character model, even though it's the same person, And depending on what they look like, what the final result is, sometimes that can be hard. It can be a hard change. And just like when they debuted independently, it was a hard change for their fan base, because it was so drastically different than what they were used to. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know if they have like an unofficial Discord channel or something like that. Like Kawaii and Prison Project and all those other ones do. If they don't, they really should. And I would say the more hardcore fans out there would I would suggest that perhaps if there are people out there that want to organize that type of thing, then that would be able to they would be able to pull that group together and build that community so it's centralized. They share a lot of listeners to begin with, and between the four of them, their fan base basically transitions between one channel to the other, some more than others, but there does seem to be a lot of people that like all of them. So there's definitely a need for that, because right now it's extremely hard for people like me to try to talk about their group when there isn't a centralized place for that fan base to pull together. You know what I'm saying? And I'm probably one of the only people out there that is or will talk about their formation, at least for the moment, unless and until they get bigger. And that's why I wanted to talk about it as soon as possible, because they have definitely built, and that's not, I don't want to stream the whole thing on here, but they have essentially built a solid foundation where they can move on from what they were, and they can completely close the book in the chapter of what they were with Kawaii, and then what they were in between, and then start completely fresh with the group that they're building. Because right now there's still a stigma, and it's not nearly as bad, but I'm going to make the comparison anyways. There's still a stigma out there of that they are former Kawaii members that left under very suspicious circumstances, and let's take like Rushia and Mike Nico, for example. A year and a half later, Mike Nico still has the stigma of what happened, and that she's a former Hololive member because of controversy, right? And so, in a lot of people's minds, they're going to look at this group and they're going to say, well, that's former Gen 3. Yeah, they did X, Y, and Z and did this on purpose, blah, 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 right? But the fact that they are starting now and that they are launching everything officially now means that as time progresses and they continue to grow, you start getting further away from this new starting point, and then everything else before that starts disappearing because they have a new starting point, right? Because before today, all four of them were still kind of in limbo, believe it or not, because they're independent, they're by themselves, they're friends, but there was no actual starting point because they didn't have character models ready. They didn't have the group name ready. They didn't have the website ready. They didn't have all the other things organized ready. Now they can say this is our starting point, and moving forward, this is us, and this is what. And I don't mean to say this, controversially, but this is what production Kawaii could not break. This is what our aunties from said group could not break. This is what Oshine could not break. Because it's true. It's all true. All those things happened. And I was personally stopped. However, I was ready, and I had enough evidence pulled together to prove a lot of what I just said, on several levels. Because quite frankly, if I laid out the said evidence, a lot of the accusations that were levied against these four girls completely fall apart. But I was asked not to because they didn't want me to drag out the war. you know. So I said, okay, let's put this all behind us, and they let people believe what they want to believe, and we'll just keep going, Now, I personally, I see that, and have felt that these four have continued to try to distance themselves from a lot of the things from the past, and quite frankly, I'm very happy that these four ladies did not dwell on the past, because that's one of the biggest things that Mikiniko struggled with for over a year, was she kept dwelling on all, the opportunities lost, the fans lost, the people hate me, blah 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 blah, right? Whereas these four girls, they went through a month of depression for sure, because you could visibly tell. However, with the amount of encouragement and fan support that they had over 4 to 6 weeks, they slowly started turning that around and saying, hey, we still have each other and we can still do something great. We just need to pull it together, right? So, Beavers, welcome to the chat. Hey, Marko, yeah, NEGEN is going to be strong because they're friends who graduated, Nina and Mistia. Mistia built NEGEN bond friendship. Yeah. If you have people that you've built bonds with, and they're no longer with a particular agency, or they don't have those types of commitment, even if they do have those types of commitments, so long as they don't interfere, and you don't break any of your contracts obligations, I mean, those bonds don't fall away. There are several former Hall Live members and NEG members that they look at each other and say, hey, you know what, we're not with them anymore. We're not obligated to commit to this or that. We can do whatever we want. Hey, let's get together and do something. For a long time, Mikiniko was looking for ladies like what these four are doing, because she wanted to put together a group as well. But the fact of the matter is that these four have been able to progress to this point and say, this is us now, is within 5 months, is extremely impressive. Now, some people are going to say, well, they had this planned a long time before that, and blah blah blah. There's no proof of that. There's absolutely no proof, unless you can provide proof that this was all planned way before their termination. I'm sorry, but it's bullshit. It's plain and simple. It's bullshit. Just like every other person that gets terminated, suddenly from some other group, unless you can provide evidence and to the contrary, of either like a statement that was said from somebody who was a witness, and that witness comes out and is able to provide said evidence, it's bullshit. Plain and simple. The facts are what are presented, and if you can dispute those facts with what is available and actually laid out, contextually in hard evidence, don't believe it. Just be happy that they're doing what they're doing. And if you don't like these four ladies because they left Kauai, guess what? There's still plenty of people in Kauai left you can go back and like. Go like them. I mean, personally, I won't ever watch Prison Project again because of what somebody did to me from said company. Despite the fact that I enjoyed watching several of them, I won't watch them. Sorry, but I will watch people who have at least shown that appreciation towards their fans, and that are very giving to them, as what these four are. They give, these four ladies give more than what they should and what they're obligated to, honestly. These four ladies, they give back to their fans to the point where it hurts. I mean, if you saw Irie's announcement recently, you know, she basically said, you know, my voice is going to sound different from now on because I'm hurting myself by trying to do the voice I used to have when I was with Production Kawaii. And she was getting to the point where she was going to damage her vocal cords. And it's like, don't do that. Don't hurt yourself trying to please us, you know? We want to be here because of you, not because of what voice you can make, you know? If you're gonna, you know, if you want to keep that voice, you know, use it on special occasions, just like everything else. You know, she does different voices for her recorded ASMR, you know, or, you know, specific scenarios. Just pull it out for that one specific scenario, you know, and use it like every 3 or 4 months. Make it special. You don't have to, you know, hurt yourself in order to please us. In fact, if you use it on special occasions, we will appreciate it more because we know you're putting extra effort into it. You know, they don't have to do stuff like that in order to please us, but they do, and that's special compared to a lot of these other ones where, you know, you give them lots of money and you know, and they're like, oh, thank you, yeah, okay, yeah, moving on. You know, I mean, they take time to thank the people that continue to donate to them and keep them alive. You know, and it costs lots of money to stream. You know, it costs lots of money. You know, and I can attest to that. I have spent way more than what I have ever received being a VTuber myself. I mean, I have spent well over 500 in the year and a half I've been a VTuber on equipment that I didn't already have. And then I spent an additional 17 on a new PC. And I have made a total of like $20 since starting my channel. So, I mean, and I don't do it for profit, you know, and I don't, and I'm not doing this to try to support myself through it. However, that's just a small example. I mean, I haven't been able to buy the microphone and sound card, you know, capture card that I want because I want to transition to a better mic. But I can't spend that kind of money right now, anyways. So I mean, I there's a lot of sound equipment I want to buy so I can like make my presentation better, but I can't spend that kind of money. You know, and for these ladies to be able to afford to take this next step and you know and say, hey, you know what, let's not try to get into one of these bigger organizations. You know, if we're able to keep the fans that we have right now and expand on them, you know, and they honestly have a huge market that they can capture. I believe that they have a huge market they can capture. Better than zero? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But these ladies have it. I mean, I honestly believe that these ladies have a huge market that is out there, just looking for somebody like them. And I'm going to use the comparison of these ladies with Fuamoko. Fuamoko, their personification of who they are from day one is primarily why they have been so successful. You know, they are drastically different than any other Hololive member. And people are so enamored by the fact that they are so different, and dare I say, even completely say so, that people are just falling in love with them. And when you look at these four, you have you have like almost every section of that paradigm in there, where you have like your bottom left, and then you have like your kind of bottom right, and then you're in, so on and so forth. I mean, you'll never hear Irie swear. She doesn't believe in swearing. That's the way she was raised. Whereas if you listen to if you listen to Mozumi is like beep beep freaking beep beep mother beep beep, and Elia is kind of like in between, and Spica, I mean, she tends to kind of like do it without realizing it. So $20, and maybe a way to help somebody, these VTubers, not give up. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Niji's. Yeah. She debuted alone and was very different from the rest of Niji. I absolutely adore her. Solomon, I absolutely adore her. I did not know who she was until she showed up with Kaicho from Game Center CX. They did a collaboration together. Irie no Kacho, and I did not know who she was until then, and I started watching, and she has that Ojo-sama type of way of talking, deswa, this nay, this, she has that just very pronounced and completely original character that no one else is doing. No one else does or embraces on a regular basis. Makes it, owns it. They don't own it. And what blew my mind was the other day when just like a day or so ago, when she played that donut game that she was playing, and she went from that boisterous Ojo-sama to this very sweet, almost timid speaking young lady. And she streamed like that for the entirety of her stream. And everybody who was watching it was absolutely in love with it, because she went from the one end of the spectrum with her character, and then she showed the soft side of her, the like almost vulnerable side of her, for several hours. And it's like giving you that treat, you get that little treat reward for everything else that you've done, and everything else you've listened to. It's like, okay, you know who I am, this is me, but now I'm going to show you a different side of me, And I was completely awestruck, because I turned on her. I went to and I turned on her channel. I'm like, this isn't her, And I closed it out, and I went to her Twitter page, and I clicked on the link on the Twitter page. And I'm like, that is her. Oh my god, that's her. I mean, these four ladies all do that. To some extent. Mozumi does it better. She does it the best out of all of them. Out of all four of them, Mozumi is able to switch from one side of her character trait to the other side the best. I'll say that plain as day. 95% of the time, it's, she's completely baka. But that 5% of the time where she lets out that kind of soft, sweet side of her, it's like is this the same person? You know, and to be able to do that and do it so well and keep it up for, an entire hour, 2 hours, that says something about the streamer itself. It's not just, oh, they have gaming skills. It's not just, all, they play, Apex like a legend. That doesn't matter. The presentation is what matters, and the presentation that they give you alongside the gameplay is why people continue to come back to them. So it is really fun. Solomon has that kayfabe. She's Ojosama that is actually for yeah. She has that. She has that character trait that she's like she spends 20 grand on a dress or whatever. But when you look at where she's living, outside of her room that's all decorated, it's like a dilapidated shack in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, I'm really excited for these 4 ladies. I really hope that they succeed, they do well. For me, I try. My mantra is to support the small streamers. If I have a couple of memberships to big streamers because but they are like my absolute favorites, and they're the only ones I subscribe to or have a membership to. Whereas like the majority of what I donate to now, they're all smaller streamers. 40,000 or less, that kind of thing. My mantra is always, you support the small people, help build them up, help them get that support, find that base, and help them to grow. And if they succeed, they succeed. If they don't, hey, we tried our best. That's my mantra. Now, as far as like me talking about them, I'm definitely going to be, keeping my eye on the 4 of them, seeing how they're doing, seeing how they're growing. When there's something newsworthy or we're talking about, I'll definitely try to talk about it on my channel, because I like talking about, things that are either fresh and breaking, or they are relevant to the positive growth of VTuberism. Whereas, I also have to do a lot of, and I don't have to, but I want to. I want to talk about like important stories that are relevant, and they don't all have to be controversial. But if unfortunately, a lot of things that I choose to talk about on my channel have controversy involved in them. But I want to be able to talk about like what's actually happening versus like just the gossip, and that's why I choose to talk about when people get let go or there's terminations or what have you, because if you talk about it and you talk it out and talk about what's actually factual, and what the person is trying to accomplish after the controversy, it helps them, especially if they didn't exactly do any wrong. They were just a victim of circumstance. I would rather talk about that and have it turn into a good story versus, just talking about a person because we're trying to talk them down further into oblivion. I mean, if that was the case, I would have kept on harping on their other former gen mate and all the crap that she has done, and tried to figure out where she went, or if she was even streaming again, and be like an anti-bully, which I'm not. I would rather talk about the positive sides of, people trying to turn it around. I try to talk about things and give perspective of it. I try to take a neutral stance on most things, so I can talk about both sides of the story without bias. So you can explain the entirety of the story, and then when I give my own personal opinion, I try my best to state this is my opinion, so that way, the person that's listening can understand. He's giving his perspective based upon what he's seen, that kind of thing. But I always try to, make sure that, when I give that kind of opinion or that perspective or opinion piece, that I base that opinion on facts that I know are concrete and relevant to the situation. That way, if someone says, "Where did you hear that?" or why do you think that way, or "That's not true," I can pull right up on the screen and say, "No, look, it's right here. This is exactly what it says," or "This is exactly where it came from," that kind of thing. Versus a lot of people, they'll just talk right out of their ass, unfortunately. So, but all right. Well, I was not going to make this a very long stream, and I've gone almost an hour and a half talking about them. So with that being said, I just wanted to talk about this, since it was something that was brand new and just came out, that they are, they are trying to find support for, and perhaps even people who were former fans that didn't know where they go. That this is another reason why I decided to make the video as well. Because, if they're a former fan and they're like, I don't know where they went, or, they didn't follow, the follow afterwards, they're able to find them again, be able to be pointed in the right direction. So, I'm going to put all the links to all these things in my description of this video. That way people can find them. So, and then after the video gets processed by YouTube, I'll be able to put tags up on there as well. So if people click on it, they'll be able to click on the tags, or the little pop-up things, so they can find the websites for, the group, and for their landing page on YouTube. Sage, thank you so much for dropping in. Beavers, thank you so much for dropping in. Caspi, thank you so much for dropping in. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you guys for being very engaged and chatting in stream. And once again, thank you all for all the lurkers that come and go and just listen. I appreciate you guys being here and listening. Once again, you don't have to say anything in order to enjoy my stream, and I don't demand people to be engaged in chat. But if you do want to say something, I don't mind listening to people's different opinions, even if it's contradictory to mine, because that's how you create conversations and gain understanding with each other. Especially if you have different opinions, if you're able to talk those things out, you can find some middle ground somewhere where you can agree upon, how you feel. So I appreciate that. So, as far as future streams, I don't have anything planned right now, but I do plan on continuing Starfield and also Armored Core sometime this week. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, please keep an eye on the community tab and on Twitter, and I'll announce those and put up the rooms when I have time. But for now, guys, thank you so much for dropping in. Until then, have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever that case may be for you. This is Marko Yamashita signing off. Peace.